Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to be talking about ChatGPT, Deadlock, Valve, all the good things. We're going to be on PC Gamer today. This is published by Tyler Wilde and it is going to be linked down in the description if you'd like to read along with me. The title goes, a Valve engineer used ChatGPT to find a new matchmaking algorithm for Deadlock and now it's in the game. Valve is one of the many developers using generative AI behind the scenes. AI is an odd topic, in my opinion, because there are good uses for it. It's just right now, the technology is very early on, and two, there's a lot of scumbags that are in the scene that's trying to replace humans for this. But it's a good tool for people to use, but it is not a good replacement for people. If you want to try to understand what I'm trying to say, like, it's a good tool, but it's not really a replacement, which is what all the scummy people are trying to do, saying, oh, you don't even need people, you can fire everyone, just use our AI. And it's just not true. It's just not as good as a human person working that knows what they're doing. A survey conducted about a year ago found that 31% of game developers were already using generative AI in some way. I'd wager that percentage has increased significantly since then. I probably would agree. We know Valve is using it. Fletcher Dune, an engineer who's been with Valve for over a decade, has been posting his ChatGPT wins on X, saying today that OpenAI's large language model is an amazing tool. See, and that's what it is. An amazing tool is what this generative AI stuff should be, but it's a tool and not a replacement. Like, you can't replace Fletcher Dune with ChatGPT, but Fletcher using it to help him in his work is the way I feel like that should be going forward, because you at the end of the day you still need a human person to be able to make the decisions, because a human is going to use the product, and so that human touch needs to be there. Dune is more or less using GPT as an advanced search engine, and the interaction that amazed him recently saw him describe a hypothetical kind of algorithm he wanted to use for Valve's MOBA shooter Deadlock, and receives an accurate recommendation for a real algorithm matching his specifications. The algorithm ChatGPT recommended is in fact now being used in Deadlock matchmaking, according to Dune. So that's really cool, and that's exactly what I think these things are good to use for, especially now that Google has their own AI stuff, and it's just bad. Like, using the Google AI for searches is bad, and I hope Google stops it, because like the amount of scrolling, the amount of stuff you have to get through to not have the AI do something is just terrible, because it just straight up just doesn't give you the right stuff. So like, it's very odd that Google searching stuff is now not really useful, because it's really hard to find the proper Google searches because of Google's AI model thing. The AI tool that they use for the Google searches now actually just makes it not reasonable to use Google search, which is weird. I'm going to keep posting my ChatGPT wins because this thing keeps blowing my mind, and I think there are some skeptics who don't know how amazing tool this is. He wrote, a few days ago we switched Deadlock's matchmaking hero selection to the Hungarian algorithm. I found it using ChatGPT. Dune acknowledges that he could have found the same answer with the right Google search terms, but says that the point is that he didn't have to. ChatGPT immediately returned to what he was looking for, even though he described it vaguely. And I think that's the best thing. For a lot of Google stuff now, you have to be very specific and in what you search for Google. And in ChatGPT, one of the best things you can do is you can just describe something, like word vomit onto it. And for the most part, you can get a reasonable amount of good data out of it. You shouldn't only use that. It shouldn't be the only tool, but like I said, a good tool in the toolbox. Find me this thing that I don't really know the right search terms for, but I'll attempt to describe it, is just a killer app, he said in reply to another poster. If it is wrong or hallucinations, which it does sometimes happen, you'll figure that out pretty quickly. And that's true. The problem is that all the people that really hate AI and all that stuff, I understand the concerns about it, but the difference is that they're using people who don't do enough research. Because the problem is that you just can't, just like anything, you need to fact check everything. It's like saying you Googled one thing, you found it on Wikipedia, so and you did no more research. Like, I think it's going back to that. Like when Google searches started being a thing in when the internet started becoming what we know it today as, people would Google one thing, find one article about it, and then that's the truth. But you should still be doing more research. Now, to be fair, people still do that, but and you can't stop from people doing that, but it is not the only thing. So you should be using it as a tool to start something and continue your own research. And like, for instance, Fletcher told ChatGPT what they wanted. It said a response, and he said, "Okay, let me look into this." Because he could, like, it's like he said earlier in the right thing. He acknowledged that he could have found it in Google, but he described it vaguely to ChatGPT and didn't know what to Google search in the first place, because you can't write a paragraph on Google search to try to find something generally. Like, a sentence is generally the longest thing you can generally find, probably. And this is the original tweet, and this is the response. Is there a by-right matching algorithm where one side expresses preference in terms of both score? In the stable marriages algorithm, both sides have a preference list. I want an algorithm where only one side has a preferences, but they are expressed as a score, and some preferences may have the same score. The best matching would be the one that minimizes the total scores across all matches. Yes, the problem you're describing is a variant of a weighted bipartite matching problem, where one side expresses preferences as scores. Okay. And the goal is to minimize the total score across. I wouldn't understand this if I didn't play Deadlock, but I understand what they're trying to do. This is known as the minimum weight matching problem on a bipartite graph, and it can be solved using algorithms like the Hungarian algorithm, also known as the Kuhn-Marquardt algorithm. Because basically the way this works is in Deadlock, you can select at least 3 or more characters to pick, and you can set them as 1 being your most favorite, 2 as being your second favorite, and then the rest are 3. And so they're trying to say, okay, 1 is this score, 2 is this score, and 3 is this score. All the players can only have one of these characters. Make it so everyone matches to it's roughly the same score, so everyone's playing on an even playing field. That's interesting. Use of ChatGPT reinforces something I suspect when I covered that survey back in January, that scattered instances of generative AI being used to create final video game art or replace voice actors are really the tip of the iceberg. I mean, I disagree with this. I think generative AI should not be used in the video game art and replace voice actors. I think that is really bad, and it's really dumb. Like I said, it should be a tool, not a replacement. Mostly, I think developers are using generative AI in ways we aren't going to see directly, such as by using ChatGPT as a search engine, or to write code, or as an administrative tool, or by using image generation during the concept stages. The image generations during concept stages are, I'm in like a 50-50 on that, because it's still the problem of how the AI generates the art is kind of a problem. At least the last time I looked it up. To be fair, they could be better now, but it's still hard to say. I would definitely 100% say creating final video game art or replacing voice actors, I'm completely against. Like, that's just not even, like, maybe make a first draft of a script for the voice actors, but you still need a human writer to make sure it still flows properly. But like, maybe you save the first draft. Maybe it's like, hey, can you write a script that, like, maybe you can use it like that, maybe. But you still need at least 1 or 2 writers to, like, make it sound proper and, I guess, normal. Normal is not the right word I'm looking for. Maybe flow properly. I'm thinking about the flow. Because at least the stuff that I've seen it write, it sounds like an AI writing it. And I don't know if you're ever going to be able to have the human flow be able to do that. I don't know, because the AI will never understand human. Like, it can never really I mean, I guess I'm sure the technology technically can do that. In January, Steam added a rule that developers must disclose generative AI use when they submit their games, and most of that information is displayed to the commercial store page. That's good. None of Valve's own games feature Steam generative AI disclosures. Deadlock included. Using ChatGPT as a natural language search engine arguably doesn't count any kind of thing these disclosure. It's true. He's just using it as Google search. Like it's not like he's using the like it didn't write the algorithm for him. It just told him that it existed. Do Valve's rules call for developers to tell it about any kind of content, art, code, sound, etc., created with the help of AI tools during development? Yeah, I agree. Like he didn't use the AI to create the code. He just asked it a question and it gave him the answer, and he said, "Okay, let me look up this answer," and it's the correct answer. And so now he's using that code, but he like that algorithm exists, but the AI ChatGPT didn't write it. It just knows about it. Dune isn't sure whether ChatGPT will remain as useful as he finds it now. In early September, he predicted that we're in a ChatGPT golden age, and that with LLM's capabilities will go downhill as training data is lost to copyright challenges or becomes polluted with by its own output. That's true. It's like AI art is now being trained on AI art, so they're getting worse. For now, through Dune says he permanently keeps ChatGPT open in a Chrome tab. I am conflicted because it is often replacing asking the question to another human IRL, or at least tweeting it out to a virtual brain trust. He said, I guess this is good. The whole point. But it is just another way for computers to replace human interaction. ChatGPT maker OpenAI just raised an incredible $6.6 billion in a new funding round as AP reports turns further towards profit making. The company claims that its new ChatGPT o1 model is capable of reasoning through problems. I don't know if I trust them, but I do agree basically with everything Dune says. It is kind of replacing human interactions, kind of. It's hard to say whether or not AI is a replacement. I honestly, right now, at the time of making this video, I truly believe that AI just simply isn't good enough to replace anything. It is good as a tool for people who know how to use it and for how to use and that knows its flaws. Like getting concept art out of it, maybe. I still don't necessarily know about that. Getting the base code line, maybe. Asking it questions for answers that you can't find on other places. Like, I understand it as that. But anything more in depth, like if your final product is that AI stuff, then I just don't think it's good enough. Because a human person is just better at it. The only difference is most of these AI things are free. And that's the big problem, right? The big problem is that it's a cost-cutting measure right now for a lot of people, and it's just not good enough to replace people, but people are doing that anyway. And it's just not good enough for that. And I don't want it to be good enough for that. It's just I think it's getting a problem is that the AI is I think the technology is getting hindered because of that, because people don't want it to replace people, and I agree with that. But I think having it as a tool is still really useful for a lot of people, and for a lot of good situations like this one. And it's just one of those things where I guess I'm trying to be, I'm trying to see, or I'm not trying to, I'm seeing the best possible outcome for this as being a really good tool. Because I mean, AI tools exist already in like Photoshop and stuff like that, and those things are great. And it's one of those things where I really hope that things like this don't get destroyed because of the scumbags that use it. You know, like there are a bunch of bad apples and a lot of bad apples. Unfortunately, it's like this has become the new grift for a lot of people. But I hope we can wade through all that and actually come out on the other end with some good uses of this and some good not only rules but also just like regulations on when to use this type of stuff. For instance, like this, I do think this is a great way to show it. It's like, hey, this guy needed a solution. He asked GPT a question and it answered him because he didn't know what to search. And I think this is a great way for this to exist, for now at least. We'll see how it goes. It is a wait and see situation. But thank you all for watching today's video. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you liked it. Comment down below what you think about AI in this type of use case. I still think it is pretty good, but I understand there are a lot of problems in it in so many ways. Please click the like button if you liked it. Dislike if you didn't like it. I understand. If you'd like to follow me on other places, I have a Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, and a TikTok. If you'd like to support me directly, I have a Patreon, or you can join YouTube memberships. Thank you all for joining, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.